There is a specific recurring rumor that follows the world's most successful people. It says that if you walk out to a dirt crossroads in the dead of night, you can meet a shadowy figure and trade your eternal soul for a seat at the top. This accusation isn't a product of the internet age. For centuries, whenever a public figure achieved massive success seemingly overnight, the public has looked for a supernatural explanation. We seem to have a collective obsession with the idea that extraordinary talent cannot be earned through practice alone, that it must have been purchased at a dark, permanent price. These stories began in the church. In the 6th century, the tale of Theophilus described a cleric who signed a contract with the devil to climb the religious hierarchy, only to spend his life in a state of desperate regret. Later, the story of Johannes Faust gave these rumors their modern shape. He supposedly bartered his soul for infinite knowledge and worldly pleasure. By the 1800s, books like the Grand Grimoire offered literal instructions for these rituals. These texts described a hierarchy of demons, like Lysifu Trophocale, who were said to be the bankers of the underworld, ready to exchange influence for an afterlife. Those ancient texts established the specific set of rules and symbols that we still use to judge and categorize our modern idols. In the 1930s, this myth found its most famous subject, Robert Johnson. The story says he took his guitar to a Mississippi crossroads at midnight to meet a tall, dark figure. Peers were disturbed by Johnson's sudden, unexplained transformation. He had left the Delta as a mediocre musician, only to return a year later as a virtuoso, with a style so complex it seemed impossible to have learned naturally. When he died at just 27, the legend was sealed, but the historical records reveal a different story. The crossroads deal was a claim originally made by Tommy Johnson, a completely unrelated bluesman who frequently boasted about meeting the devil to gain his talent. Years after they both died, white fans and music researchers interviewed their old associates and accidentally merged the two men's lives into a single, unstoppable legend. There was also a massive cultural gap. In the tradition of the American South, the figure at the crossroads was often Papa Legba, an African spirit of wisdom and crossroads, rather than the Christian devil. This case shows how easily a legendary pact can be constructed out of nothing more than a misunderstanding of folklore and a sudden burst of talent. In the 1980s, Brazilian singer Xuxa reached a level of fame that felt inexplicable. Rumors swirled that her success was fueled by satanic messages. Critics claimed her hit song was a demonic invocation, pointing to a specific hand sign as proof of her occult allegiance. Songwriters later clarified that Ilarie was just a rhythmic nonsense word invented to make the chorus catchy. It had no linguistic meaning at all. Her hand sign was also misunderstood. She performed the gesture with her thumb extended, the official sign language symbol for I love you, which observers had confused with a closed thumb demonic salute. People even claimed she was forbidden from saying the word God, despite the fact that her use of the phrase, the guy upstairs, was just a personal habit she had used for years. Her story illustrates how the public uses ancient fears to try and make sense of a celebrity whose influence has become too large to grasp. That same paranoia follows today's icons. The sheer scale of the crowds following Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, or Beyoncé creates a sense of unease that the public often fills with supernatural theories. Modern accusations are just as extreme. Pastors have labeled Katy Perry the daughter of the devil, and politicians have claimed Beyoncé's performances contain literal satanic rituals. However, rather than hiding from these claims, many modern stars have realized that the rumors themselves can be turned into a tool for engagement. When the singer Anita was accused of selling her soul, she leaned into the absurdity. She joked on social media that her demon was coming to collect her in 10 years, turning a terrifying ancient myth into an internet punchline. The internet hasn't changed the myth itself, it has only accelerated the speed at which we use these stories to explain the heights of modern stardom. If you want to keep seeing the history behind the legends that shape our culture, like the video and subscribe for more case files. These stories persist because they serve a very specific human need. We have to ask why we find it so difficult to believe that someone can reach the top through effort alone. We use the devil pact to balance the scales. When we see a level of success that we cannot achieve ourselves, we give it a supernatural weight to make the world feel fair again. It is easier to believe that a star used dark magic than to accept that a human being can possess a level of drive and luck that is simply out of our reach. The true cost of this visibility is surrendering a private life to a public that never stops looking for the hidden catch. If you were standing at that crossroads tonight, knowing what the public would say about you, what would you be willing to trade? Let us know in the comments.